Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being here. July the 13th, 2024, we are live down here at WCCO every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mr. Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team RE/MAX Advantage Plus. In studio today, we are excited to have Ruben with Structure Tech, owner, wonderful guy, a great home inspector. A lot to talk about today. And again, we welcome your discussion wherever you're seeing us on social media. Questions, comments, thoughts, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. Or just comment on the social media feed. Scott, Mike, good morning to you guys.
Hey, good morning, Ryan.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're going to talk everything mortgage and real estate related. Got some cool things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the upcoming lawsuit that is now set August 17th, kind of the trigger for that to go in effect. So we're going to talk about what that means, who it affects, does it affect anybody. We're also going to talk about condos and townhomes. Easy to get financing, not easy to get financing. Why would it be? Why would it not be? So we're going to talk about some of that stuff too.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Mike, you're back. Have you recovered from your party?
Yes. It was actually easier this year. The nice thing is it started raining like at midnight, which got everyone out. But it also then we're like, hey, everyone, help us move all this stuff into the garage because a lot of stuff was outside that couldn't get wet. And so most of the stuff was actually picked up before even the next day because all these people were still there to help out move all this stuff so it didn't get wet. So weather turned out great. And it worked out nice at the end too because we had a little extra help to move some stuff.
Yeah, again, every year Mike does a big 4th of July party, invites family, friends, neighbors down in Burnsville. A lot of fun, great turnout. And again, we got Ruben in studio. Ruben, thanks for being here. You elevate the discussion every time you're here.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you.
I speak the truth. I speak the truth. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Again, we're at WCCO every Saturday morning here. And Mike, a lot of interest rate talk as well, kind of coming through social media too.
Good news for interest rates. We're going to talk about that when we go live on air here. But yep, so we got good news this week to share, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, good news. Scott, do you have any good news for us today?
I don't. I've got the question of the week. We're going to go live, so I'll do it on there.
Yeah, Ruben's got good news.
Always. I got stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
If the conversation gets a little slow.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of stuff to talk about here.
Perfect. Hey, here we go. We're going live on air on WCCO. Thanks again, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us and hope your weekend is starting off well. July the 13th, 2024. And this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We appreciate you joining us. And again, it is a live real estate show. You can join us by phone or text 612-294-6949. That number again is 612-294-6949. Don't hesitate to interrupt us. We always got a lot to talk about, a lot of different things going on in the real estate, mortgage world, home inspection world. Ruben Seltzman joining us as well with Structure Tech. A lot of good stuff. Scott, Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ryan.
Yeah, good to be here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. 612-294-6949 is how you can always join the discussion, either by text or live. Obviously, if you're following us and we're not covering a topic that you think we should, go ahead and shoot us a question. We'll cover it on air. Question of the week. We always have a fun non-real estate related question. I'm just going to make it real easy with all of we don't get into politics on this show, so it's not a political question, but you've seen the debate. It's in the news everywhere. So who wins the election? Trump or Biden? We're going to assume Biden goes in. So who wins, Trump or Biden? Does not mean you're for that person. Just who do you think will win the election between Trump and Biden?
Yeah, interesting stuff. Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans. Last weekend was your big 4th of July holiday party that Mike puts on. Had an awesome turnout. Tell people about that a little bit.
Yeah, every year my wife and I just put a party on at our house. We do it every Saturday. The Saturday that's closest to July 4th. We did it just last Saturday. Had about 250 people come. We do food truck. We had a mini donut and slushy truck.
Which
and
was so good.
Scott got some mini donuts there.
I did.
It was his cheat day for sure there.
It was.
Yeah, and then we do fireworks, and we have water slide, big blow up water slide that we bring in. So there's fun for every age, and people just come and go as they please, and yeah, it's usually a good time.
Yeah, my kids looked at me and they said, "Dad, you should have got into mortgage." look at Mike's house and his second house. Yeah, a great property, fun event. Everybody has a blast.
Yeah, Mike, what's cooking mortgage interest rate wise? Update here in the first segment.
Well, I was talking right before the show went on there that I got good news this week. So, interest rate's all about inflation. If we go back to the COVID time, the only reason why we had super low interest rates because of COVID. And I said to everyone, it's like, look, when you stop hearing COVID in the news, when it becomes one of those things of, it's a thing of the past, quote unquote, interest rates are going to go up. And sure enough, COVID just wasn't talked about. You just didn't hear it in the news and stuff like that. And then rates went from 3% in January of 2022 to 7% in October of 2022.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Now it's all inflation, right? Now all I got to do is watch inflation. If inflation news is good, our interest rates are going to come down. If inflation news is bad, our interest rates are going to, stay where they're at, or they're going to go up. This week was just a stream of good inflation news. One of the biggest things was the CPI report. So CPI is Consumer Price Index, just a measure of consumer goods. Did the cost of those consumer goods go up? Did they go down? This report said that they went down. So again, that's a measure of inflation. Inflation went down. Because inflation goes down, our interest rates go down. So we're sitting at, I got VA loans sitting at, I locked one yesterday at 5.99 on a 30-year fixed. I got two conventionals that I am at 6.375 on. And then I had another conventional too, highly rated on credit score. That one was 6.625. So we're in the low to mid sixes for the most part, maybe touch the high fives in a couple of cases. But we go 2 weeks ago, they were 0.5% higher. So nice little 0.5% drop in the last 2 weeks and everyone's happy. Yeah.
And having a 5 in front of it, just from a mental standpoint, it's like, even it might be 5.9999. At least it's not 6. At least it's not 7. That will just organically kind of spur people along. Hey, it's getting to the point.
Yeah, before the first break, we always like to touch on a real estate update here as well in the Twin Cities. These are year-over-year numbers. New listings or new homes for sale up 8.2%. There were 1,358 new properties that came on the market. Pending sales or accepted purchase agreements, again, similar to the last few weeks, down 12% year over year. There were 1,061 pendings. And then the overall inventory is up 12.2%, 9,116 homes for sale in the Twin Cities. Still very, very historically low, but again, up 12% from last year. The other interesting comment is that the median down payment is up to $26,400, or almost 14% of the purchase price in the first quarter of 2024. And they went on to say that down payments are up significantly from pre-pandemic levels. In the first quarter of 2020, the typical down payment was $14,000, or 10.7% of the purchase price. So Mike, going from 10.7 to 13.6, have you been seeing that lending wise?
Yeah, I mean, it's, and I think you guys have seen it too, just how many more cash sales have gone on in the last, 18 months versus previous to that. Yeah. And it's when interest rates are higher, people want to borrow less, and back when interest rates are 3%, borrow another 10 grand, your payment went up by like $20. Yeah. Well, it's easy to borrow extra because your payment just doesn't change that much. But I mean, that makes sense to me. There's money out there, and I don't know where it's coming from, but there are more cash sales going on. And we have seen some higher down payment amounts coming through on the different deals that we're working on.
Yeah, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Before the break, we've got a listing in Burnsville, 11765 Mill Pond Avenue in Burnsville. Susan Mall has this one listed for $249,900. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage townhome. It's got new roof, new siding, new carpet, stainless appliances, upper level laundry. The primary bedroom has 2 walk-in closets, a walk-through bathroom. It is move-in ready. Again, 11765 Mill Pond Avenue in Burnsville for $249,900. Susan Mall with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus has that listed. Be sure to check out those photos. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for joining us on social media. Good morning to friends joining us as well. Jen, Deb, thank you. Thank you. Good morning to you. Jen says, what about RFK, Robert Kennedy? Don't forget him in the predictions of who's going to win the election. Good point, Deb.
Very, very good point. Absolutely. Cast your vote. We've got one right now. He's leading. We've got one. We've got one for Kennedy. Are there any other Bidens? You just did that bingo. Are there other bingos?
Yeah. Hey, we were talking a little bit before the show with Ruben, owner of Structure Tech, and just about the market and what he's feeling, and said, hey, he's busy. And you said something interesting about you said you could hire a number of inspectors right now, or find a couple of inspectors.
Yeah, we could definitely use more help right now. But the problem is that it's a 4 to 6 month training period. And if I were to hire somebody today, mid-July, they'd be ready to hit the ground running kind of during our very slowest season, and I wouldn't have anything for them to do. So it's always a game every year trying to figure out exactly what the market is going to be 6 months from now. So we have the right amount of people.
If you could do that, let me know.
I know.
I want to know. We've been trying to do that for years.
Yeah. So, and back at you.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
that,
get it dialed in, let me know.
That reminds me of a question. If somebody came to you right now and said you can go back to being the age of 16 and know everything so you know everything that's going to happen, or you could take $10 million right now, which would you do? It's an interesting question. I mean, think about it. If you had the knowledge of Google coming up when it does, who won every sporting event? It's like $10 million is nothing compared to, I know who's going to win the 1997 Masters by 12 strokes.
But I think there's a lot of merit to learning in life. And so personally, I think that's part of the process is we learn, we evolve. I mean, financially, it would probably make way more sense. But on a human level.
And the premise is you still have all your knowledge. You're not going back to not remembering it. You were 50 years old and now you're 16.
Yeah.
So you could avoid any mistakes that you find. You made. Just personally, there's a few things I'd like to do differently through my life. So I thought it was interesting.
Oh, we all have that.
Oh, yeah.
Ruben, what do you think, bud?
Definitely go back to 16.
Yeah.
I mean, with all I know, and just thinking about investing in a couple of different stocks. I mean, 10 million would be nothing. But here's the other side of that coin. I firmly believe that ignorance is bliss. And some of the most intelligent, smartest people I know are not very happy people because of all that they know. And they realize everything that's wrong in this world. And it weighs on them. And I think some of the happiest people I know are not very intelligent.
Yeah, Ryan is always happy. Ryan is always happy and smiling.
No, you know what's interesting is that's a really good analogy for real estate agents. Is sometimes agents, especially when they're newer, they try to learn everything about everything, every contract, addendum, clause, etc. And then they never go do an open house. They never meet someone at church. They never talk to their neighbor. And so they never do any business.
Yeah.
And so they're so fearful of the knowledge, and that's a huge roadblock, and it's a common one for a lot of real estate agents that I've seen over 20 years.
Hard to get out of the gate.
Yeah, hard to get out of the gate because you're intelligent, you know everything.
Yeah, and look how happy I am.
Yeah, what does that say?
Keep my head in the sand.
What does that say? All right, here we go. We're going back live on air. News Talk 830 WCCO. Thanks for joining us. We've got Ruben on with Structure Tech today. Again, Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans as well. As always, thanks for joining us. Welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show, and thanks for joining us. Hope your weekend is going well. We've got another nice listing. This one's in Burnsville as well. Nikki Popko with the Minnesota real estate team and Remax Advantage Plus. She has one at 2154 Skyline Drive in Burnsville. It's a 5-bed, 2-bath house, 0.42 acres. It's got a nice fenced-in yard, hardwood floors in the living and dining rooms, a new 12 by 24 deck off the living and dining rooms that provides additional entertainment space for summer barbecues, of course. New roof installed in 20 of 23. And Nikki's going to have an open house Saturday, today, from 1 to 3. And she's going to raffle off, how about this, 2 tickets to the Brewer Twins game for July 21st. And the seats are near first base. Very cool. So open house today, Saturday, July 13th from 1 to 3 p.m. And Mike, the price on this one is $423,500 for this property.
So there will also be Dean Minotti, who's a loan officer on my team. He will be at that open house. So you will have a live loan officer there. If you are wondering about loan options or anything like that, and you visit that property, he will be there to help you out.
Very good. I've got one real quick. 7111 192nd Street in Eden Prairie. This is a 5-bedroom, 2-bath Rambler with a guest house, potential guest house, has to be finished, on an acre lot, priced at $600,000. And I'm going to be in an open today from 11:30 to 1, 7111 192nd Street in Eden Prairie. Come and visit me.
Yeah, just I was talking to a friend before the show, agent on the team, who helped a buyer back in September purchase a property. And through life, unfortunately, this particular buyer lost their job, and now is being forced to sell 7, 8 months, 9 months later. And I think the hard thing that we forget about real estate sometimes, and it's partly why, over the years, Scott and I and Mike, we encourage people to find their right option, whether it is renting, whether it is owning. But we've always said home ownership, you need probably 3 to 5 years. What's really heartbreaking in this situation, and our agent, who has a lot of compassion for this person, the property is not moving much. And, the buyer put a significant down payment down, and they're going to lose a good chunk of money, guys. And people forget that sometimes. And so again, life happens. She didn't plan on reselling, but that's sometimes the risk of owning property, guys. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it is. And yeah, it is. I'm not sure. You said it well. I don't know.
Yeah, Mike, do you have any thoughts? Ruben, any thoughts to share on that?
Yeah, in general, you always have a plan, and then life throws a curveball at you, and then something can come up like this. So it's one of those things where, again, like you said, Ryan, we try to do our best to say, hey, look, what's your plan for this house? If you have one of those jobs where, you might be moving in 12 months, right? They might relocate you to a different city or something like that. A lot of times purchasing might not be the best play.
Yeah, don't buy
in that case. But something like this comes up, it probably wasn't the plan, obviously, but it came up, and now we obviously do the best we can to help that person out.
Yeah, well, that's why a lot of people listen to the show. It's like, God, it doesn't seem like you guys ever say there's a bad time to buy. And obviously there has to be. But for the most part, it's always a good time to buy. It's not always a good time to exit. We've used the example of Ryan, who bought a lot of investment property between 2003 and 2005. Arguably the worst time you could buy any kind of real estate. So the argument is, well, did he make a bad decision? Because look at all the money he lost. Well, he didn't lose, because they're still cash flowing. And now 20 years later, the mortgage has been paid off. So it's when you exit that you can have a problem. This scenario is it. You bought, now you have to exit 8 months later. Well, yes, you're going to have some financial hardship over that, because that would not be a plan that you would have walked in to do.
It's hard. Yeah. It's really hard, Ruben.
And the way I think about it is that just kind of a macroeconomics view. Whatever this is, the real estate market has traditionally always gone up. There's very few times where you buy a house, sell it 10 years later, and you're going to lose money.
That's right.
And with that, with something that's almost a guaranteed return, there's going to be risk. That's just basic economics. So you're going to have some risk no matter what. And there's a lot of people who want to rent their entire life because they're not comfortable with that small amount of risk. And it doesn't affect most people, but it's going to get some.
Well, we were joking before the show. You're exactly right. When we've been doing the show for 18, 19 years or whatever. And we had a gentleman 15 years ago that would call in every single week. week after
And
week.
Scott was very polite,
Yes,
as you can
Mike
tell by the tones.
Well, but the
Scott
point-
was very polite to our caller.
So he would call in and he always said that he was a real estate investor and he's not going to jump in the market now because we're not at the bottom and he believes it will be in six. So this went on forever. So finally I said, Joe, let me interrupt you. How many investment properties do you own? He said, well, not yet. I don't own any because I haven't gotten the market. I said, okay, you can't call into the show anymore. Get out of your mom's basement and go buy a property. And, we were joking, but it's true. It's like, just go throw a dart, go buy a house, get in real estate that way. You're never going to pinpoint the exact bottom. You're never going to pinpoint the exact top. And all those months and years you waste cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, it is something to think about, especially for young folks, for first-time home buyers. It is obviously owning real estate it gives you a great opportunity to build wealth, to create wealth over time. In this scenario with this home seller, some people will say, well, could she try to rent it? Could she rent it and ride it out? And, that presents different challenges as well. We've helped a lot of sellers in those situations where they didn't sell, Mike, and they rented it.
Yeah. So the missed opportunity, that you guys have been talking about here. Do you guys remember how much appreciation that we've seen here in real estate since 2013? We covered it like a couple of weeks ago. I showed a chart.
I would say since 2013, we've probably gone up 38%.
Do you want to take a guess, Ryan?
No, you tell us.
So it's actually 72%.
Oh, wow. So double.
So
That's
right,
a ton.
we went up 30% in the last 5 years alone because remember COVID,
That's
it's like
right. That's
everyone
right.
was
That's
going
right.
crazy,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So if you would have bought a house back in a $250,000 house back in 2013, real estate market has been up 72% since then. Overall, you just made 180 grand.
And
Right.
make no mistake, folks, if you were at that time, you were petrified about buying something. I think we're at the top. Is this really the bottom? What's going on? We had the same discussions. And of course, we were saying the same thing.
Right. And so now you look back and you'd be like, that was the best decision I've ever made. I just made $180,000 in the last 11 years just by owning a house. And so there's that. We can send you these stats too if you want to reach out to us and what the average appreciation has been over year since like 1946. I got the chart. But real estate's been a great play, besides, a chunk of years there and then the great crash. Outside of that, it's been great.
Yeah, we were talking again, Ruben Seltzman, owner of Structure Tech, a little bit before the show, that you need, you're busy. You need home inspectors. And what's interesting about the conversation is that, in the home inspecting world, there's a lot of different inspection companies. But what I love, what Ruben told me is he said, well, Ryan, it's going to take 4 to 6 months to train those inspectors. Not all home inspectors are trained. There's no licensing. There's no requirement, right, Ruben?
Yeah, there's nothing in Minnesota. No training, no certification, whatever. Anybody can go out and just call themselves a home inspector. And
I've seen some through the years.
We've all seen them.
Yeah.
there's a lot of them. And I mean, even if somebody has been doing it, I mean, I remember we hired this one guy. He'd been on his own for 8 years. He has an established business and he comes to work for us. And I could never get him to do inspections right after 6 months of working with us because he's been doing it the way he felt it ought to be done for so long. He's got these ideas so ingrained.
What was he not doing right?
Everything.
Yeah, everything. I don't know where to start with
Really?
that question. I mean, but there is no formal training program to be a home inspector. I mean, you can take a 1 week online course or something, but that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what you need to know. You need to go around with seasoned people who know what they're doing for a long time to get this down. And most one-man shops or woman shops, I'm not talking about just men, most single operators have not had the opportunity to get good training. And until you get in with a multi-inspector company, you just don't have that opportunity to get it.
Yeah, we're going to continue the discussion here. We appreciate you joining us each week at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're at the halfway point. Before we break, Miss Karen Lunzer has got a nice one, Mike, at 4815 Babcock Trail, number 2010. It's listed for $224,900. It is a 2-bed, 2-bath, divided floor plan. It's got one bath on each side. Heated underground parking, all new LG appliances in the kitchen and laundry, new LVP in the kitchen as well, in the kitchen and laundry, great storage space throughout, and the porch surrounded with windows, a lake view with a second bedroom and porch. 4815 Babcock Trail, number 2010, for $224,900. Karen Lunzer and the Minnesota real estate team and Remax Advantage Plus. Check that one out online. We'll be back here after the break. Good stuff.
Awesome.
You got no caffeine today, Ruben.
No caffeine? Do I need some?
That's what I love about this guy is you can tell his energy. You got great energy. Is that just natural energy? That's impressive.
That's natural energy, baby. Getting good sleep, good eating.
Well.
I got a little caffeine.
Good sleep.
Good sleep.
That is the
Good
key.
workout this
Biggest
morning.
thing.
That is the
Biggest thing.
key.
Yeah.
You get good sleep, Scott?
I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better as I get older. I get a little bit better. But yeah, forever it'd take me 2-3 hours to go to sleep, and I didn't. I'm getting a little bit more sleep.
Man,
Oh, that's terrible.
That is terrible.
Oh,
Listen to yeah.
I'm just the opposite. Are you just like lay down out that type of deal?
Usually it's pretty good. Yeah, usually about that. My little electronic sleep tracker tells me it takes about 23 minutes on average, and then I'm out. Pretty good.
Do you do the phone thing? A lot of people say you got to keep your phone away from your nightstand or like keep it away so you're not pulling.
I have mine on my pillow.
You do not.
I do too.
Dude, well, that's why you're not
I
sleeping.
literally put it next to my just in case anything comes in, it'll wake me up.
Dude, there you go.
We've identified the issue here.
We need to talk.
I'll tell you what, 3-2-1 rule. No alcohol 3 hours before bed.
Okay.
Very good.
No food 2 hours before bed.
Yep.
Okay.
No screens 1 hour before bed.
Wow.
Yep.
Why the
3-2-1.
food thing though?
It messes with your sleep.
Well,
I mean,
and
I'm not a great sleeper, and I've read
Oh.
dozens of books about sleep.
That's what I love about
specifically
this guy.
sleep.
Yes.
And all the experts say the same thing.
see, I do all that
Can't
stuff,
eat right
and
before
then
bed.
I take 4 Benadryl and 4 melatonin.
Dude.
No, I do.
You're kidding.
No, I swear to God, that puts me to sleep. It puts me to sleep.
Well, that's so bad,
about
dude.
Better, forever I used to take melatonin. And you want to talk about losing your train of thought, which I do a lot at 55.
You mean during the day, the following day?
Oh yeah, I mean, and I was like, God, why am I losing? And I looked it up. Melatonin and Prilosec were the biggest things for losing your train of thought. But I'd taken both of them forever.
Ruben, look at Ruben's reaction. He doesn't know how to respond to this.
We need to talk after the show.
Ruben. Good morning, Bill, Ashley. Thanks for joining us as well. We appreciate it. Again, feel free. Questions, comments, thoughts. Mike, changes coming up in the real estate world with the commissions.
Yeah.
The big commission lawsuit. What are you seeing from a mortgage standpoint? Like, how is that going to work for buyers with real estate commissions?
Pretty much business as usual. Most of the loan programs out there have addressed the changes coming up, and they have said that you can roll in buyer broker commissions into the price of the house, have the seller pay for it, and that doesn't affect how much the seller can pay towards concessions towards the buyer's closing costs. A lot of people are thinking, hey, if the seller is going to be paying my buyer agent commissions, is that going to eat up the ability to pay for closing costs as well? They have separated those, and they're not going to intermingle them. So it's going to be business as usual.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this when we get on air because obviously it's a heated issue that is coming up here relatively quick. But yeah, it's tough.
Ruben, do you know that Bill Maher is in the Twin Cities tonight?
I have no idea. What's he doing here?
He's a political commentator. He's on
a very, very liberal leaning.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shows because I tend to lean a little bit more conservative. I like his show because he says it how it is.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's a comic. And so he just does a lot of he has this weekly show, and it's so anyway, he's coming to the Twin Cities. But I had a friend who just texted me, said, hey, Bill Maher's coming to the Twin Cities tonight.
So are you gonna go see him?
I don't know. Probably not. It would be fun. Tickets are actually spendy. They're like $150 for
He's super
Oh, wow.
popular.
yeah. Oh, here we go. Dennis is telling us we're going back live on air here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show, and thanks for joining us, everybody. 612-294-6949. We've got a nice listing in Farmington, 1309 Larch Street in Farmington for $350,000. Justin Voss has this one listed. He said, feel like living up north. He said, enjoy the similar wide open outside spaces of this home. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1 oversized tub, all in 1,500 plus finished square feet. There's a nice deck, fenced in yard, playground outside. A great home, a great price as well. 1309 Larch Street in Farmington for $350,000. Mr. Justin Voss, Mike.
So speaking of tubs, question for you guys, because
Yeah.
this came up the other day. Is it a negative to not have a tub in the master bathroom?
Depending on the price range, no. So the more expensive you get, the more common it is to just have a 6 by or a 10 by 6 shower, that's in the master bath. And that was almost going away. Tubs were almost going away 5 years ago. Now they've kind of got a kickstart again because the houses are getting large enough to where they'll still be able to have the shower and then do some form of a freestanding clawfoot tub.
Yeah, we got Ruben Zeltzman with us today, Structure Tech. Ruben, what do you got for us today? By the way, if you've never caught one of this guy's segments, known him forever in the industry. I'd see his articles in the Star Tribune. I'd see it online. What I like about Ruben is he is here to provide information, and that's been your MO. How long have you been doing this? 20 years or how long?
Been in the home inspection business since '97. It's been quite a while, and been kind of a media producer, content provider for 15, 16 years now. Been blogging, doing Facebook posts and podcasting and YouTube videos, really just kind of switch things up to being an education provider disguised as a home inspection company.
Yeah.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah, that's good.
We love teaching.
What do you have for us today? What's cooking with Structure Tech?
All right. This is one that everybody should be able to relate to. I get everybody's opinion here. What do you do with your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher? I want to know what everybody does, because there's the two ends of the spectrum. There's the people who you look in the dishwasher and you don't know if the dishes are clean or not. That's so pre-rinsed.
That's me.
That is you, Scott?
Okay, that's you. How about you, Ryan?
I do scrub it down pretty good.
You scrub them. Mike,
Yeah. So
what do you do?
If I've known that dishwashers aren't very good at getting peanut butter off stuff. So
Yes.
if it's got like peanut butter and like that type of stuff on there, I will
Yogurt.
scrape that off, right? Ketchup comes off easy. Like the easy stuff, no problem. I'll just throw them in there, whatever. It's just, if I know it's going to be sticking, the dishwasher's not going to get it off, I'll take the time to do it.
So parents out there will know this one. Anybody that's had kids that liked malto meal.
Yep.
If you don't pre-rinse that malto meal
Yeah.
off the bowl, you literally have sandblasted multi-meal on all of your dishes that are in the dishwasher.
Yes.
No.
Trust me, we've had to get rid of dishes numerous times.
All right. So I've got I won't bust her out, but my daughter, she loves to bring food up into her room and then bowls disappear for
Yes.
weeks. And she's also the one who's in charge of loading the dishwasher.
Oh.
So the quick and efficient way to do this is to do nothing. And you put the bowls right in there just as they are and don't do anything. And every time I'll see her doing this, and I'll just kind of shake my head quietly. That ain't never going to work. You're going to be hands scraping that. And I don't know what the deal is. We buy the Costco dishwasher packets. We don't have a super fancy dishwasher. It's a Bosch. And it takes...
That's super fancy.
for
those that have LGs, they're like, I want a Bosch.
It's nice. The run time is 2 hours and 10 minutes. So it's not a quick little, 30-minute rinse. And
Side
we're done.
note, how many people out there besides Ruben know how long
Yeah.
your cycle is in the dishwasher?
Well, it tells you. It tells you right on there.
Uh-huh.
And if I forget to put it in my rinse aid,
Okay.
it goes up 10 minutes.
Yes.
It's going to take 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It tells you because it's fancy.
That's right. Other people's dishwashers do not tell them.
It wasn't
just
the
in
top
the
of
just in the
line.
Ruben household.
It's just what Consumer Reports said I should get.
Okay.
I trust
Okay.
them.
All right.
And we buy these dishwasher packets at Costco. It's the Kirkland brand, and it says really big on the outside of it, no pre-rinsing, gets food off, 48 hours stuck on food, it'll still get it off. And I'll tell you what, it works.
Huh.
And if you start reading a handful of dishwasher manufacturers' manuals, and yeah, I'm the guy who does that, the manufacturers tell you don't pre-rinse. Your detergent actually needs food to activate to do a better job of cleaning. So I'm going to challenge everybody.
Okay.
Get better detergent. And if your dishwasher is 20 years old, I mean, there's no hope for you.
Well,
I can't help you.
and if you can, Bosch, you can take a payment plan over 10 years. and you can get your not so fancy dishwasher.
I got homemaker lines of credit that I can give you so you can
That's
purchase
right.
that dishwasher.
We'll tie a second to your house. You can get a Bosch.
Yep.
Then you can throw in whatever kind of.
It's really not bad.
I'll tell you, the price is comparable. To everything else.
Poor Ruben. He's just trying to get through his
He's like, "God,
story.
I just wanted to buy a Bosch
No,
dishwasher.
I love it. This is okay. And Bosch is going to send me a check after the show.
Yeah. Right. Now it's going to show up on our Facebook feeds the rest of the day.
Oh my
People
gosh,
are like,
it will too.
it'll be like Bosch. I'm like, oh my gosh, Ruben, Bosch.
It is. It's going to show up on your phones, but try it out. My dishes come out sparkling clean. We almost never need to do anything. I'm taking photo proofs of this, the before and after, the stuck on peanut butter. I don't remember who said that, but it works. So try it out. Let your dishwasher do a little bit more work. Make sure that you've got hot enough water. Make sure your water heater is turned up hot enough. If you keep it at a super safe 105 degrees, ain't gonna cut it. Not only that, but make sure that your water softener is working right. If you got super hard water, it's not gonna do as good enough job.
My hot water is as hot as you can possibly get it. And people that come over to my house are like, with those kids, that's so hot. I said, no, I know. They don't. They felt it. They won't turn it up. I love hot water.
That's my parents' house
Yes,
too.
the hottest you can get.
Oh my gosh, I've scalded my hand at my
You
parents'
only
house
do that
so many
once
times.
as a kid. You only scald your hand.
So Ruben,
You're smart.
with Structure Tech in the work that you and your team of home inspectors are doing, any common items from a home maintenance standpoint for existing homeowners, items we should be kind of paying attention to, et cetera?
Well, I'll tell you what, with all the rain we've had, I mean, I know we started off this spring beating the same drum, but got to bring it up again. Everybody's sump pumps have surely been going off constantly this year. And if you haven't checked on it or you haven't had a basement flood yet, wonderful, that's great. But make sure you've got some type of backup system in place. Make sure that if your sump pump, when your sump pump quits working, because they're all going to die someday, what's your backup plan? How do you know it quit working? Do you have a backup alarm? Do you have a backup sump pump installed? What's going on there? Make sure that you've got a backup plan in place to make sure that your basement doesn't flood if you have a sump pump, because boy, we have all been relying on them this year if we have them.
Yeah, it is. It's common, Scott.
It is. Before the break here, we are going to talk about the pending lawsuit that has been in the news that people know about, where the sellers are no longer going to have to pay buyer's commission. And so what we're going to talk about, what a great change. How cool was it to get involved and dictate kind of how our commission structure goes? It must be awesome for sellers now because they don't have to pay an additional commission. So we'll talk about that and whether that's true or whether that's not true.
Yeah, again, 612-294-6949. I did have a question come in from a listener who said, if I have a sale of your house non-contingent, can his title company force us to pay for a survey? Definitely can't force you to pay for a survey. There should be language in the purchase agreement, most likely, that will often talk about that. From a title standpoint, you have to provide clear title to the next owner by closing or the following 30 days. But forcing that would be a no.
Yeah, you can make a request that you would like the seller to provide you with a survey, depending on the purchase agreement. Like Ryan says, if there was raw land included, there would actually be something that references that property. It depends.
Yeah, and after the break, we'll hit the question. It says, do you see home construction building at a rate that'll catch up the inventory anytime soon? As for the question of the week, between Trump and Biden, I think Biden has this. That was our kind of fun question of the week.
Yeah, I should say, so that puts Biden at 7. So we're 10 for Trump. So at this point, 1 for Kennedy and 7 for Biden.
Before the break, Clint Abel has one in Lakeville, 2022 Homestead Court, unit number 40, listed for $325,000. It is a 2-bed, 3-bath Rambler. end unit townhome, great location. It's got 2 fireplaces, built-ins throughout, granite countertops, great natural sunlight. There's a sliding door to the deck with some great views. The main floor includes a primary bedroom, oversized walk-in closet, private bath, along with a versatile space, perfect for the home office. It is handicap accessible, and it's located to shopping, restaurants, and all the amenities. 325,000, 20025 Homestead Court, unit number 40. Be sure to check that out. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Good stuff. Hey guys, I don't know if you noticed, we have a football here. I found a football in studio here.
Let's go.
That could be our fun item through the week here. Mike, what do you got, buddy?
How much equipment do we have to move before we can
That's
start
right.
opening this puppy up
Yeah,
here? I'm looking around.
Give me 4 times and I'll make it to that wall.
Yeah. Ruben, what else you got? Anything else? Any other hot buttons as we're thinking through stuff, Ruben?
All right, hot buttons. I don't know if we got time for it
Yeah.
during the break, but just the latest thing I've been talking about is repairing ungrounded 3-prong outlets. Super specific, I know, but it's something that comes up at home inspections all the time. Old houses, home inspectors use these little testing devices, and we say, oh, there's a problem with this outlet. It's not grounded. And a lot of time people kind of freak out about this, like, oh, we got to get an electrician, rewire the house. And what it comes down to, I'm not going to get through all the little details of what the electrical code says, but one of the simple fixes that a lot of people don't know about is all you need to do in a lot of cases is install a GFCI outlet. It's those $15 outlets. They got the little test buttons on them, and they will give you life safety. You can almost always do that in place of properly grounding a 3-prong outlet, and it's perfectly safe.
Yeah.
So people make a big deal about it. It's usually a pretty simple fix.
Are you still writing for the Star Tribune?
No longer.
Did they end that? Probably that.
They don't allow outside bloggers to write for them anymore.
Yeah.
They put an end to that at the end of 2020.
Yeah. It was really cool. I don't know if you
COVID
caught a
thing.
lot of Ruben's articles. That's originally kind of how I first heard about it. Is just seeing like, wow, this is really good information. It was no hard sales pitch. There was no like bait and switch, or it was just good information for homeowners.
Yeah. And I'm still writing the exact same thing that I always have been. But it just shows up on my own website now. I don't get quite the reach that I have.
So structuretech.com, again, fellow agents, be sure to check out structuretech.com because a lot of great information, especially agents, any experience levels that you're trying to learn more about housing. You want to be more knowledgeable for your clients, a great way to provide value.
And we offer continuing education classes as well. We've got tons of them online.
CE.
CE.
Scott needs a CE.
state.
Love CE. I love doing. I get it done really right away at the beginning of the year, so I don't have to. I don't procrastinate.
I think you do. Don't you take extra classes
Yes,
too?
I mean I know it's only 15 hours. I put in like 100 and
Yeah, it's good.
It's time to get 2025 done today.
Yes.
You're going to start cleaning your dishes
On top of it.
as you put your dishes in. You're going to start making your bed, leaving your phone away from your pillow so you get better sleep.
So you'll love
Stop drinking coffee right before bed.
You'll love this because Ryan knows my lovely mom. So my mom, speaking of dishwashers, Michael, her husband, does not believe in dishwashers. He believes that it is good for the family to all connect, and they all wash the dishes together. My mom has done that, and he believes that my mom loves that. And I said, Michael, if you unfortunately did ever pass away, there will be a dishwasher in that spot tomorrow. Make no mistake, this kumbaya stuff ends if my mom has to do it without me. Yes, this is all for you.
Yeah, this is all for you. Appreciate you joining us each week. 612-294-6949. Mike Overson shared some good news about interest rates. Mike, help me understand, why would someone get a 6.375 and then somebody gets a 6.75? Both were conventional.
Yep. So credit score was the main difference in that. You also have to remember too, if you're doing a conventional loan, but you also have down payment assistance that comes with it, the state of Minnesota, that program, they set their own interest rates, and those interest rates are higher than what you see in the market out there. So that's another factor too. It's like, I have the same credit score as this person. Why is my interest rate a little bit higher? Well, maybe you're doing down payment assistance through the state, and the state sets their own interest rates.
We're going back live on air. WCCO. Thanks, everybody. Welcome back to our final segment. And our final featured listing of the week is in Chanhassen. Jennifer Ritzman has a great one at 2590 Arrowwood Lane for $724,999. 4-bed, 3-bath, huge 3-car garage. Jennifer said it's a charming blend of an older home updated with tasteful modern features. It's a private, 0.84 acre, almost an acre lot. Rare opportunity to live in the sought-after Long Acres neighborhood. Chanhassen often recently voted the #1 place to live in America. That's kind of their claim to fame. And Jennifer's going to be doing an open today, 11 to 1. So right after the show again, 2590 Arrowwood Lane in Chanhassen, 724,999. Be sure to check out a wonderful property. Scott, commissions, that's on the hotbed. Everybody's talking about that. Sellers no longer required to pay commissions. How does that work?
Yep. So lawsuit that went in place that will now go into effect August 17th is going to be changing our forms. Right now, when a seller lists their commission with RE/MAX Advantage Plus, and let's say my commission that I charge is 6%, before this change, I've agreed to pay 45% of my commission, or 2.7%, to the cooperating broker. So now, as of August 17th, the powers that be that are super smart are eliminating that. So now sellers do not have to pay 2.7% in commission. Oh my gosh, what an incredible idea. We've saved sellers across the country and everybody should be better. Well, of course, like anything else, when the outside entity gets involved, that's not the case. And Ryan, you'll be sweeter about it than I will, so you can take the reins and talk about exactly what happens, and then we'll piggyback off that.
Yeah, so they're no longer required to pay that buy-side commission. But oftentimes what people forget is that buyers have saved up enough money. Maybe they're using an FHA loan, and they're looking to spend 3.5% down. They go to Mike Overson, they get a loan, and they're excited to go look at their first home. Well, buyers, the vast majority of buyers don't have extra money for commissions. And so is it fair for the buyer, for this first-time home buyer, to say, look, you should now be unrepresented and call up Scott Wolmering on your listing? Scott represents the seller and the seller best interest to negotiate and work through that. And so what we're forgetting oftentimes is that not paying a commission is going to significantly reduce buyer demand from buyers who don't have extra monies to hire an agent.
That's right. The bottom line is nothing has changed. 10 years ago, when I sat down with a seller and I said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, my commission is 6%. Let me explain how that works. RE/MAX Advantage Plus gets 3.33% on the listing side, and then I've agreed to pay out on the buyer side 2.7%. Well, Scott, I don't want to pay out a buyer commission. Absolutely, we don't have to. Didn't have to 10 years ago, didn't have to last month, and are not going to have to on August 17th. So they've never had the requirement to do that. You have to understand, what is the goal here? The goal is to get the most net money for that seller. So we're talking about marketing markets. If you eliminate 25% of the people that could write on your property because they want to have an agent representing them, and you are not, as a seller, going to be paying out, you've eliminated 25%, 30, 40% of your buying market is now gone. If you think for 1 second that paying out that 2.7% is going to net you more than the reductions that you're going to have to make because you're limiting your market, that's the problem with this. Sellers will still pay out a commission. It will be talked about in a different way, but a buyer is not going to write a check to me if I'm representing Ruben, like Ryan's scenario, 3.5% down. They're not going to write a check to me for $15,000 to sell them a house.
Yeah. So, and this is a topic, again, we'll continue the discussion over time. Of course, you can tell by our show, we are in our first segment, we are consumer focused at the end of the day, talking about renting versus owning, talking about a variety of different things. So we always just to give it to you straight here without any realtor spin to it. That's what we've done with this show, and we'll continue to do in regards to this commission discussion as well, guys. I know we are already at the end of the show. The show goes by so quick. I want to be sure, Ruben Seltzman, best way for people to connect with you, agents listening, brokers, consumers listening.
Please find us online. If you Google Structure Tech, or you go to our website, you go to structuretech.com, you will find us. We got links to all of our different platforms, YouTube channel, the podcast, the blog. It's all on our website, structuretech.com.
Ruben, great job.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Mike, last thoughts for folks?
It's going to be interesting what happens with interest rates. I think we're all on the same page here. Interest rates will continue to float down as we go from now to the election and then after the election as well. So I think no matter who gets elected, I do think interest rates will float down. It's not going to be a straight line. So we're going to have some ups and downs along the way. But in general, I think they'll be a little bit lower at the end of the year than where they're at now. But now we're creeping into the high fives in some loan programs. We're in the low sixes for a lot of them. Would not surprise me that we're mid fives when the election comes around. And
I think that was my prediction, is that we'd be mid fives by the election.
Yep. And then, who knows what happens? Election can cause a lot of cool things. Maybe we could have interest rates a full % less 2 to 3 months after the election. They could go up. We'll just have to wait and see.
Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, does a wonderful job. Encourage you to reach out to him. This has been the Minnesota Real Estate Show. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, we would be honored to work with you. Hope you and your families enjoy the rest of this weekend. Thanks again. Nice job, guys.
Nice. Good job.
Ruben,
Thank you.
we got the football going back.
Let's go.
It's Ruben. Hey, fellow agents, reach out to Structure Tech. Great company, great people. Love your content you're putting up. So thanks for all you do.
Tons of continuing education for agents. It's all online. We got it approved by the state. I can guarantee it's going to be some of the best classes you've ever taken.
Yeah.
And it's at a great price. Take one of my classes. Let me know how.
Well,
it
I
goes.
took so many last year to get my 100 hours. Took so many, I was burnt out on.
You said you
we
get them
saw
right
each
early.
other so much.
You too, Ryan.
Yes, I will. Mike, great job, buddy. Great work as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, I encourage you to reach out. Again, Mike Overson, Illuminate Home Loans. Great lending team. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll be back next Saturday here on WCCO.